Bit of a fleet tour. So right here is my 2020 Honda Accord 2.0 Turbo Sport, and I got this car back in 2019. And I've actually made a video on this car, and in that video I went over everything that I had done to the car. It's got an aftermarket front end, it's lowered on D2 lowering springs, it's got a Borla exhaust, it's got a Canon cold air intake, it's got tint, all the trim's blacked out, and it's on these Kansei 18-inch wheels. So in total, it's lowered around 3 inches, roughly. And this is my daily driver. Right now it has about 80,000 miles on it, 83,000. And I have aftermarket taillights. I got the custom license plate for X-Gen for the 10th generation Honda Accord. Blacked out the emblem. That's the last bit of chrome left on the car, and I have a tow kit on there. So I can do stuff like tow my motorcycle. This is my 2004 Suzuki Hayabusa 1300R. And this bike, I got it, and it wasn't taken care of fully. I had to completely go through the whole bike and do everything. I did air filter, spark plugs, coil packs, clean the fuel injectors. I did brakes all around, service the chain, put a Canon air filter in it, put a new clutch in it, put a stator, put a rectifier in it, and a new battery. So most things. And I did a clutch slave cylinder. Just cause, not only that, it has these ASV levers, in which these levers are about $100 a piece. And then I did go to do grips, and I did the left grip, which turned out really good, but the right grip did not, because it did not line up with the throttle right there. And that's pretty much it. Everything else the bike had when I got it, had this, had these covers. I think these might be stock handlebars, it might be aftermarket, I'm not too sure. I didn't do a lot of research on that, honestly. And then I put on this phone mount. So that's most of what I did to this bike. I did start a video where I started painting and priming some of these fairings right here. But unfortunately, now this bike is sold. So this bike is no longer mine. I mean, I haven't really ridden it in like a year. And that's not the reason why I sold it. It was just, I mean, it kind of is the reason why I sold it, because I haven't drove it in about a year. It's just been sitting, so it's gonna go to a good home. Somebody's gonna customize it, do a full paint job on it, and hopefully take good care of it. But I mean, I basically brought this bike back to life, because I mean, I flushed all the brake fluids and whatnot. It's got fresh oil in there. A lot has been done to this bike, and it's good to go to its new home with its new owner. So next, I have my 2004 Nissan 350Z. And I do believe that this is the Enthusiast, because it has the cruise control, and there was something else that the Enthusiast had that this car has, and I can't quite remember what it is right now. But with this car, I've had a lot of issues. I actually made a video on that. If you want to go check that out, you can look at my channel. Recently, I did the emergency brake on it, but it's got Brembo brakes. It came with racing seats, OMP. It's got these Volk Racing two-piece wheels, which these wheels are like super expensive. I put a catback exhaust on it. It has high flow cats, but I'm getting rid of the high flow cats, and I'm gonna put on some, I think it's just cat deletes. They're just like test pipes that I'm gonna be putting on it here soon. And partly it's because I want to get rid of the cats for drifting, and it's also partly because I think that I have gasket leaks on my high flow cats, and it was like 60 bucks, so I might as well knock that out and make the car a little bit louder. But yeah, this car is a full-on project car right now because it's had a lot of issues. It had oil leaks. I kind of addressed some of those. Also valve cover gaskets. I have a video on that. The transmission's making some noises. I put a new clutch in it, a new throwout bearing, got the flywheel resurfaced, got a new pressure plate, and it's still making transmission noises, and I believe that it is my input shaft bearing, so I gotta pull the transport apart. I've said that in other videos a couple times. And this car right here is actually not mine. This is a customer vehicle. It's having some problems. I've actually done a decent amount to this car. We've put a new MAF airflow sensor up here. There's a secondary MAF airflow sensor down here. It has a new fuel pressure regulator, or fuel pressure, whatever sensor that is right there. We've done coil packs, spark plugs, air filters fairly new, and it's throwing air fuel mixture, mass airflow sensor problem codes and whatnot. And I also did a starter on this car, but I believe that it is the PCV valve system. So unfortunately, the PCV valve is located underneath this intake, and I started taking it apart, but I'm more of just waiting for the parts to come in. And I was able to figure that out by looking on YouTube, and people said, take off the oil cap and put a glove over it. If it blows up, PCV valve failed. If it's sucking in, PCV valve is good. So it was blowing up the glove. Causes a lot of air fuel mixture problems with these cars. So the next thing is to do the PCV valve on this car and then give it back to her. I haven't made a video on it or anything. I haven't made any videos working on this car. I didn't really feel a need to, and if I made a mistake and you guys wanted to see that, you should comment down below and tell me I'm goofy or something for not making videos on this car. I also had my sister's car in here a couple days ago. Her water pump went out. Her car's also European. It's a Saab 9.3 Aero, and I had to do her water pump. So if I'm a fool for not making a video on that, comment down below. Well, let's get back to it. This is my 1994 Snapper that's kind of a storage unit right now because the grass is not growing because it's starting to become fall and winter. So right now it's just a little bit of a storage unit. Got some charcoal from when the hurricane came around, and we ended up getting this grill. So I didn't have one, needed a cheap option to cook some food. So it's got some side-by-side parts on it, just ignore that. It's just a little bit of a storage unit. But yeah, this thing's an absolute unit. I mean, I freaking love this lawnmower. I got it for like 200 bucks from a family friend. And that's a better look at the OMP stuff. And these boxes actually have a KDB I think that's what it is. A little fin to go on the 350Z at the back. Fuel pump for my sister's car. I got some Honda floor mats that I have yet to put in. But yeah, back to the tour of my fleet. So right here is my 2007 BMW 335i automatic. I love this car. The only thing that I do wish is that it was a manual. So right now this car, I mean, it runs and drives. It does have some slight running issues. I'm thinking it could either be my fuel injectors, because they tend to be very leaky on these cars and whatnot and cause a lot of problems, or it could be the PCV valve system on these cars also. My headlights actually shorted out. I went to Waffle House with my girlfriend. The road's absolutely flooded while I was there. Drove it home. The road's like flooded, hit a big old puddle, and right now I don't have the front bumper or the fender flares on, and it just completely shorted out both my headlights. But these headlights, honestly, like, all the clips are broken, the internals are like just shoved in there because all the mounts were broke. I kind of, you know, just doing things together because it was in a front end collision, and I rebuilt the whole front end. That's why there's no front bumper on it, and that's why the hood is blue. So I got this hood for like $100 off Facebook Marketplace, and honestly, I love this car. It has like over 170,000 miles, and I love how it drives. It's absolutely awesome. But I did the radiator, AC condenser, took off the intercooler, and I one-up blasted all the valves inside, because that's a big problem on these cars also, is that the valves get really caked up with a lot of carbon buildup. So went ahead and took care of that, and I'm still not running the best. I've done the fuel pump and I've done the fuel pressure regulator. High pressure fuel pumps on these cars cause some problems, and it's doing a shadow code for that, but I'm not sure if it's just because of those injectors. And index 12 injectors for this car is like $2,400, and that's just absolutely absurd, honestly. I don't know what they were thinking with that. They definitely need to make that cheaper. It's definitely like a recall item. They need to go ahead and send me a letter and just give me index 12s for free. That would be awesome, but you know, that's where we live in. Then right here, I have my 2016 YXZ 1000R sequential manual transmission. This thing is so much fun. I got it in this condition, basically. The plastics, I just got like some of the plastics off right now around the back because it's running a little iffy, and I've been trying to work on it to get it running right. Only thing that I did was put inline fuel filter in it down there, which you can't see right now because I got plastic shoved in there. But it's got this little light bar. It's got a winch on front. It's actually got a ball hitch on the back. That's why I got my jet ski hooked up. And I've put a new steering rack in it because I broke the other one. Yep, this is one of those machines you break and then fix. So, but these are, what I've heard, a lot more durable than a lot of other machines like razors and whatnot. They can take a beating a whole lot more. This thing actually has almost 9,000 miles on it, so I'm thinking I need spark plugs, maybe fuel injectors clean, maybe some cold packs, maybe a valve adjustment. I'm not too sure, but I haven't really dove that deep into it. That's why I got all these plastics off. I was starting to, and then my best friends got married, so I went on a little vacation, so I haven't really get back around to it. Been more worried about getting people back on the road. So that's this little unit. I did get some new tires and some new wheels for it. It's no longer bead locked, which is a little sketchy, but I like the way they look, and I got them for like really cheap. So that's what we're looking at right there. I absolutely love this thing. It's an absolute rifter. It's a drift machine. My buddy actually was riding on it in his trails, and this is a very common thing for these. The front diffs kind of like give out or have issues or whatever, so it doesn't have the front drivetrain hooked up with the drive shaft and going to the front diff, because the front diff is absolutely blown. So with these, you have these two switches right here, right? And this one is for headlights. You have, come on now, focus. You have low beam and high beam, right? Headlights. And then right here you have two-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and diff lock. So imagine, you're driving around, ripping through some trails, it's starting to get dark out, and you go to hit your headlights, but you're driving, so you miss your headlight switch, you reach up, and you grab your this switch, and you go four-wheel drive or diff lock while you're driving, right? You go four-wheel drive. All that tension, all that torque is just shoved into your front diff immediately, and it just blows out. So that's actually what happened with this unit. It's just honest mistake. Two switches that are the exact same that shouldn't be because of situations like that, honestly. And then I have my 1993 or 94 jet ski Sea-Doo. And this has been a little project that I was working on. I was actually having a lot of issues with this thing. I actually have a video where I say that I almost sank it because it filled like halfway up with water while I was going down the river. And I actually met somebody on the river the same day, and he happened to lock his jet ski up, in which I own that jet ski now, and I was engine swapping it right there. I was engine swapping it. It was running bad, haven't gotten back to it, and then the other ski was just a donor ski. Because my issue with this jet ski was my exhaust header right here and my exhaust manifold. I've worked on this probably 10-15 times with the one that came on this jet ski, and no matter what I did, it was non-stop backing out bolts, snapping bolts. I put studs in it. Studs would back out, studs would snap. It didn't matter what I did. What I came to the conclusion of is that something was wrong with the exhaust, or something was wrong with the header, and it was warped. And because it was warped, it was putting too much tension on all these bolts or studs or whatever I had in there. And then whenever I was riding down the river, it got hot, expanded, whatever. It's putting way too much tension on it. Two-stroke shake a lot. It's a two-stroke engine. And then once it snaps or whatever, water flows through here. It's like your cooling system. And the hole just starts taking in water. Not only that, you lose a lot of pressure because the water flows through there and gets pushed out the back through the propeller. So that is what was going on with this. So I bought that donor ski for really cheap, took the exhaust off of it. That donor ski right here, took the exhaust off of it, and then pulled the engine out, put the engine into this jet ski. Whenever I did the compression test, it only showed 110 on both cylinders. So either the rings are stuck or bad or something, possibly, but it was also shooting out a lot of okay, if you ever seen the milky substance, like when water and oil mix, it was shooting that out. So I haven't really had time to dive into it. I've been more focused on my 350Z and helping my sister with her car, customer cars. And then I gotta get this back working again because I want to go hit some trails. But yeah, this is about done for the summer. I kind of removed all the stickers and whatnot. I might pull all this off and delete those stickers. Might fully redo this. I'm not too sure yet. It runs pretty good. The only thing right now that's going on with it is back here. There is what's it called? It's a it's called a wear ring. Yeah. Back here there's a wear ring inside of here. And that wear ring goes bad, and it's designed to go bad, and you lose a lot of your pressure, so it'll feel like a clutch slipping on a car, basically. And it's designed to go bad so that you can replace it for cheap and not have to worry about replacing any jet components. And I got to do that probably this winter. I'll get around to that at some point. But yeah, that's a tour of my fleet. I worked really hard getting all these cars, and a lot of them, all my toys and whatnot, I got these for pretty good deals. I got this from my best friend, so I'm probably gonna keep this car forever. I got this from a very good buddy of mine, and I got it for a really good price, and they kind of go for upwards of around 10 to 15 in like perfect condition. This one's definitely not in perfect condition. This one probably is like a 7,500 $8,000 unit right here. That I got for 700 bucks. These things fully redone, they're probably worth like 1,500, 2,000. It just depends. I see people listing them for like 3,000, which is just unrealistic in my opinion. But they're honestly awesome units. The old school two-strokes are phenomenal. This car, Facebook Marketplace, $4,700, and a lot of problems later. So, not too bad. I absolutely love this thing. Cannot wait to be drifting it. Only thing I left is a transmission and possibly exhaust leak. Other than that, I gotta dive into the fueling system a little bit because I want to say that they ran this car on NOS. I want to say it was a drag car. You can kind of tell because they've been running, I think these are kind of like radials in the back. Those are some meaty boys, but you can't really see it. But I got some wires going down there to my fuel pump and power wire, a little like fuse or something right there. I'm not sure what's going on in there. I got to dive into the fueling system, kind of go over it a little bit. But this car is sweet. It's got a Tomei shifter on there, and I've done a lot of this car, and I've got a lot more to do. So, yep. That is a tour of my fleet. And I'm really sad to see this go. I've actually had this bike for going on 2 years now, and I rode it a lot for the first year, and I just haven't really ridden it since. It's just been kind of sitting. But yeah, it's just time for her to go to a new home. So that's gonna be it for this video. I thank you for tuning in. Until next time, peace.